Hi everyone, this is Caitlin, and today we're going to be doing my August budget in my Erin Condren coiled notebook. I actually already went ahead and decorated this page because I needed to take photos of this sticker kit. So all of my stickers, are already put down, but I did record myself placing them, so I might put that footage at the end of this video if anyone's interested in watching it. But I figured we didn't really need to spend time on that. I already have most of my numbers jotted down on this notebook, so I'm not flipping back and forth to next month, the previous month so much. I just jot this down in this Mead Cambridge edition notebook. I love these notebooks. They're really flexible and smooth and a great quality, so I love using these. I have a couple of different colors. All right, let's get started putting in income. The first item that we have here is I'm just going to put down as income number 1, just to simplify things. Last month I had a second item here that was a side project that I expected to complete this past month, but that just did not happen because I've been so busy. I'm not going to count it in this month. I've learned from that mistake to not count my chickens before they hatch there. So I'm only going to be including my salaried income. So the amount for this month expected is $4,085.70. Now you'll notice that that is bigger than last month's, and that's because I get paid weekly, and there are 5 paydays in this month because there's 5 Thursdays and I'm paid on Thursday. So that is this month's income. So now we'll move on to my bills. We have mortgage, which is going to be $1,179.57. And again, that is different from this month because our mortgage comes out bi-weekly, and there happen to be 3 bills for that because that also comes out on Thursday, and there are 5 Thursdays, and it just works out that way. So that's the mortgage. Jeep payment is $250 exactly. Car insurance, this went up. We started a new 6-month premium, or like a 6-month policy, and this first month is going to be $138.75, and that is going to go down to $128.75 for the next 5 months, I believe. I really want to get on paying this every 6 months when the policy renews, but I just can't afford to do that at the moment. So we have electric, that was a weird E. It's going to be $34. I hope you guys can't hear the traffic in the background. I tried to pick a pretty chill time of day when traffic wasn't crazy, but cell phones is going to be $88.14. I mentioned in last month's video that I wanted to reduce our plan to get this cost down, but the next level is just a little bit too small for us to stay under monthly, I think. So that's probably going to have to stay right where it is. especially after this past weekend. We got like this freak hailstorm and lost internet for a day and a half, and I really, really needed the internet, so I was using my phone as a hotspot, and if I only had 2 gigs of data between myself and my husband, I don't think I'd be able to do that. So I'd rather have the peace of mind of being able to use that data when I need it. Okay, so speaking of internet, that is next on our list, and that will be $44.99. Then pest control. This, I think, may be the last month that we pay this. It's the last month of our yearly contract, but I have to talk to my husband and see if we want to actually keep this or not. And my battery's flashing at me, so hopefully it doesn't die when I'm not paying attention. So health insurance is next. This again is just for my daughter's health insurance, and it actually went down, so instead of $15 it's going to be $12. And then Netflix is $13.99. I got a medical bill that it's really just a copay, so that is $25. Oh no, I don't have enough lines. Okay, I can move some of this stuff over to categories. And then heating, that's why I ran out of lines. Heating oil, we did get a delivery. Obviously, we're not heating our house because it's summer, but we do use it to heat our hot water. So we got a delivery a couple of days ago. So that bill is going to fall into this month, and that will be $259.47. I really want to convert to natural gas. It's just a really large initial investment to do that, but we pay this like $250-ish amount probably every 3 weeks in the winter to heat our home and water. So that's our dilemma right now. I really want to convert, but it's going to be somewhere between like probably $7,000 and $10,000 to do that for the new boiler and hot water heater or water tank or whatever that is. Okay, I'm going to keep savings here because that one, whatever, it's just next on the list. It doesn't matter too much. I know that one's not going to change, and that is going to be $80 because there are, I think this comes out on Mondays, and there are 4 Mondays in August. And then I'll move tithe over here, and that is going to be $328. I did increase this from last month's. You might notice that, and it doesn't line up with this because there are 5 paydays and then 4 automatic withdrawals for this in this month, so it doesn't line up exactly, but I did get that up to 10%. And what do we have next? Sorry, I'm just trying to keep an eye on my camera because I know the battery is going to die very soon. So we have grocery and household next. And these amounts I have to figure out what I'm going to do. I know we totally busted this last month. I will definitely record the actuals for you guys soon, but I want to wait until everything clears through my checking account and all of that. So today is actually the last day of July when I'm filming this, so I still need a couple of days to wait for all of those things to clear before I can record last month's actuals, but I am going to do that for you guys. Next we have gas and automobile. I do need to get my car inspected, so this might need to be a little higher, but I was kind of looking at last month's actuals and we really came under, so I might not have to adjust the amount that I had from last month. We have home. This one is probably going to be substantial because we need to get 2 windows placed before the weather starts to cool down. They're the only 2 old windows that we have left in the house, but they're covered in lead paint, and that will be a nursery whenever I get pregnant or whenever I have a baby, and hopefully it'll be sooner rather than later, so I just want to get that done so the nursery would be ready. For the next item, we have personal. Then we have credit card, interest, property tax. It's actually school tax. I should have written that, but that is a sinking fund. And then unexpected is just kind of a random leftover category that I have for a buffer. So let me total some of these up and we'll see what I'm left over with to divide into my categories, and I'll be right back. All right, so I have totaled this up. So this column is going to be $2,195.03. I kind of went over these a little bit and went back and forth between how much I wanted to put in each category while I was off camera there. But what I settled on for grocery and household is to budget $400. Last month, I believe I did $350 and definitely blew that. So hopefully this will be enough for this month. I know in July, part of the reason that I went over was because I was so busy with work that I didn't really have a lot of time to meal plan, and we practically live across the street from a grocery store, so that's really convenient sometimes, but also it's a bit of a crutch and it's easy to run over there and just grab something to make for dinner without having too much of a plan, and you can overspend pretty easily that way. So for gas and auto, I believe I'm going to put $130 in this category. I don't know how we stayed so under last month, but I'm not going to decrease it because of that. I'm going to increase it because I have my car inspection, which is due, actually it was due last month, but oops, I don't really leave my house very often, so as long as I don't get caught, right? Home, I'm gonna put 200 in. We should be able to stay under that. We replaced similar sized windows before, and I think we can get a pretty decent window that size for like $75 at Lowe's or Home Depot. So hopefully that's adequate. For personal, I'm gonna put 100. We should be able to stay under that. Credit card interest, I'm gonna put 100 again. That's roughly what it is. I think we went a little bit over this past month, but as long as it's pretty close. Property tax, I'm going to put 600. I originally had a different amount here, but I wanted to keep it a nice even $100 amount, if that makes sense. And then so unexpected, that leaves us with just $32.67. Right. Obviously my goal is to account for everything in any of these categories, so unexpected should just be a little extra buffer, and at the end of the month, if there's anything left over, it's going to go to this property tax sinking fund. So let's total all of these up. I actually did that already. So that's $1,890.67. Next, I'm just going to transfer the totals over. Oops, sorry, I forgot to put this down as a total here. Not that it matters, it's the exact same number. So I'm going to transfer everything over into this like summary box so that we have a good idea of where I stand. This should even out to 0 because I know last month I didn't account for every dollar. I had a little bit left over in budget, but I decided that this month I really need to kind of do a little bit more of an every dollar budget, even though it's kind of in this random unexpected category. Awesome, and we have a 0 balance. Now for this section, I don't really plan on using this. I kind of just laid this out for taking a photo of the kit. But for savings, I will probably do this month and then total. So this month, and that's going to be $80. That auto transfers from our checking account into our savings account, and then total, which I don't know where it is currently without checking, so I can't give a total there, but there might be interest as well that would throw that total off, so I'm gonna leave that blank for now. Oops. Sorry guys. Credit card payment, that is not going to have any extra this month because I'm throwing everything we can at the school tax sinking fund. So this one's gonna be blank. I don't really know what I want to write for that. And for debt, I actually record this somewhere separately, so I'm going to leave this as well. For sinking funds, again, like this column was pretty much set up just for a photo, but I do think I want to put goals up here, and then down here I'm going to put like unexpected transactions, or maybe I'll just leave that the way it is and then leave a notes section down here. I think that's what I'm gonna do. So I'm just gonna take a little sticker here. I can line it up properly and then just write notes on it. That way, if anything out of the ordinary happens this month, I can record it here. Sometimes we'll end up randomly getting money for something, or have a really weird unexpected payment, things like that. And then I can just record for my reference what was going on this month. I think that really covers everything. In a couple of days, once everything clears, like I said, I will come back and do a review of July with the actual numbers, and we'll see where I was. I know I went over in a few things, so that is unfortunate, but that's kind of the purpose of me doing this, so I can see where I'm misjudging where my money is going and really track everything. I don't typically do things on paper. This is my first month really writing things down and going back to review. So that will be interesting to see. Typically what I do at the beginning of the month is kind of like just this, like just kind of write down where I think things are going and leave it at that. Just hope for the best and hope that I stick to whatever category budgets I set for myself. Now I want to take a few minutes to answer some questions that were asked in my previous video because I glossed over a few important details that would be very helpful for you to understand. So one of the first questions that was asked was about our income. This income is my salaried paycheck. I work a 9-to-5 job and this is what I get paid. My husband's income, well, my husband recently started his own business, and so everything that would be coming in for his income is being reinvested in the business at this time. So he is not contributing to the household budget for the time being, but that is going to be changing pretty soon, hopefully. Another question that was asked was about our checking account, if we use multiple checking accounts or things like that. So we have one checking account and one savings account. All of our purchases, except for a few items, go through our credit card, and then I pay from our checking account. I pay our credit card usually like every 2 weeks. I'll pay a big chunk off to keep up with all of the transactions that are being accrued on that card. And we have one card that we use as well for our household expenses. There's a second card that he uses for his business that occasionally, like maybe a grocery run might get slipped onto that card if, whatever, random things happen like that, but everything is still tracked in this household budget, and we typically use one card, one checking account, and one savings account for everything to keep things simple. I used to have multiple cards, and it just drives me crazy to have too many things to track, so I simplified things as quickly as we could. For tracking our actual transactions, I use a software online called YNAB, short for You Need a Budget. It's similar to EveryDollar with a few key differences. Instead of taking your expected income amount and then assigning a job to EveryDollar, you take the dollar amount that you have actually available in your checking account or in your accounts, and you can assign jobs to that money. So you have to wait until you actually get the money in your account in order to budget it for something. It works out pretty well for me. It's like a pretty fluid way to do things, but I also have this to come back to and make sure that things aren't going over every month as well. The software allows me to import transactions from our credit card and from our checking account, so everything gets pulled into one place, and I can set up categories and category groups how I want, and that usually syncs up to this budget. There are a few things that I separate a little bit more in YNAB, but I would group together here. For example, personal on YNAB, I separate into my personal spending, my husband's, and then things for my daughter as well. YNAB is also what we use to track our sinking funds. So all of our sinking fund money stays in our checking account, and I just have categories for each of our sinking funds in YNAB, and that balance that I have put money towards, that carries on into each month. So I can see how much money I've been putting into each sinking fund category. And it all just stays in the checking account, but looking at YNAB allows me to know what's available for what purchase or for what purpose. And I do plan on recording a video on how we use YNAB. I just have to figure out the logistics because I don't really want to share every little transaction, but I do want to show you kind of how it works if you're not familiar with it, and give you an idea of how our money workflow works. If you do have any questions about our budget or anything related to that, please feel free to leave a comment below. I usually respond pretty quickly if you're curious about something. You can also find me on Instagram at Caffeinated Kate. I will put a link for that in the description and probably somewhere on the screen as well. If you're interested in this kit that I used, I have it available in my Etsy shop. That also will be linked down below. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to join me for this budget video. I hope you guys have a great month, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.